Soulmate with Brian.
Hello, welcome to a new episode of Soulmate with Tina. Hi, Tina.
You look surprised.
Wait, why is that chair empty?
I think we have a guest today.
Yes, someone is here. Can you guess who it is?
No, actually, I have no idea. Yeah.
Someone here? Okay, I'll give you one hint. You want to know what the hint is?
Yeah. Yep.
Brr.
Brandon?
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 One more guess. Bree?
Yes, I met a Bree today.
Oh, no, it's not Bree today. Okay. Today our guest, you have a special guest. He has many hats. So I have a full list of his hats. So let me describe who he is. Hailing from San Antonio, Texas. He is also the previous member of G2G band and also Crygen, the duo. And also he was a former leader of a band called Amazing Things and also Jesus Christ Worship. And also the current director of the worship place. And also the host of Soulmate with
Brian.
Okay, we got it. So let us, and now he's the guest for today. So let us please welcome Brian Kim to the stage.
Yeah. Welcome to my show. Yes. 반갑습니다. 제가 진행자입니다. 반갑습니다. 네.
I think the Brr joke didn't really land.
Oh, it didn't really land. It's okay, but
It'll be edited.
Okay, so officially starting, we will have him introduce himself and also greet our viewers online.
Okay. Thank you for having me as a guest of my show. I'm the MC and the guest today. No, I'm actually just a guest, but it's great to be here. My name is Brian Kim. I'm a worship leader and Christian artist from Texas, from America, but now more comfortable in Korean. I'm a mix of different cultures, but my identity is a child of God, a Jesus lover, and a proud Christian and Christian musician. Thank you for having me.
Amen.
반갑습니다.
Yes,
감사합니다.
thank
네.
you. And also today we have Tina Kim here with us. If you can briefly introduce yourself as well and also greet our viewers that are here today.
Yes, hello to the many viewers that we have for the first time, isn't it, since your show started?
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Tina Kim, and I was one of the first guests to be interviewed on this Soulmate for Brian show, and I was so honored to be here. Yes, I am a worship leader, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
And where are you from? From for those
Oh,
who
yes, I was originally born in Korea, but lived most of my life in New Zealand. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And who are you?
I am actually the host for today. My name is Colin, and I was actually the first guest, and she was the second guest.
Wow.
So
I'm
we're
sorry.
all. It's good. It's all full circle now. We are. I am originally a musician as well as a concert organizer, and I've been in the arts and stuff. I met Brian through playing keys for him, and yeah, we're here today to really talk about our stories and also mostly about his. Vast experience, and so stay tuned. If you can give us an update on how you're doing right now and also maybe your family, if you want to share.
Yeah. Wow, a lot to talk about, but it's been an amazing 1 year, or the last year has been very great. Just I changed my name. My Korean name is actually Braion, but I changed it to Braion Kim. In Korean. So, but yeah, the reason why is I'm trying to reach more, I guess, global audiences with my music, with my message, and trying to translate Korean songs into English and releasing them globally as well. And but this past year, I planned a Monday night worship. Concert or worship in Hongdae, kind of nearby, and we collaborate with other Christian artists, and we try to reach out to the next generation as well as those who left the church and trying to bring them back to church with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So it's been a crazy year with that. My daughter, she looks just like me. She looks more like me than I look like myself. And she's 6 years old in Korean age, so 5 in American age. And she's learning English. You know, she's like, she's asking me all these questions in English, and so through that, you know, I'm relearning English as well through my daughter. So yeah, it's been a great year for me.
Awesome. Shout out to Brian's family. He talked about his name. You talked about your name, Brian. My next question is, when did you start being called Brian? And
Yes.
this goes back to Texas, if you want to share that story.
So I was born in Korea. I was born in Seoul, and my parents went to Texas first, and so they left me with my grandparents, my 할머니 and 할아버지, and so they were my parents in Korea. And I got on the airplane when I was 4 years old, and we went to Texas, and that was the first time that I saw my mom and dad. I called my mom something called 아줌마, which means old lady, and I didn't know that she was my mom. But and then I grew up in Texas, no Koreans. Went to kindergarten. I was the only Korean kid there, and my name was actually Kim Young-jun. Kim Young-jun. So everyone called me Young-jun. You know, and because I didn't have an English name. So I told my mom after a kindergarten, I said, "엄마, today my name is Brian." So I named myself Brian. Yeah, very random.
Wow.
Yeah, very random, but that's how I became Brian. Yeah. And my mom called me the next day Brain. And then she called me Brown. Yeah, because Brian's kind of hard to pronounce in Korean.
See, I told you the "br" will be funny, like
It
Brian.
is funny.
Yeah.
Brain. How did you become Tina?
Well, funnily enough, my next door neighbor gave me the name when I went to New Zealand.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, she was an old lady. She was an
Latina?
ajumma. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she heard my Korean name, which is Ina. And
Oh,
then-
your Korean is Ina.
Yes, Kim In-ah.
So
And-
yeah, that kind of relates. Ina, Tina.
yeah, yeah. So
Right? Youngjun, Brian. Very different. Very different.
young Brian, you're always looking young. So
Let's not talk about age tonight. Okay?
if you can share a little bit about how you started to worship, how you started music, and it goes back to a youth gathering when you were in your teens,
Yeah.
Up until college age. So if you want to share that.
So I went to church, but I didn't know Jesus. I led worship for my youth group, but I didn't know Jesus. And so I complained to my youth pastor, why aren't they worshiping? I'm leading worship and I'm a super Christian, I'm a strong Christian. Why aren't they worshiping? I was complaining to my pastor. But that winter in high school, as a senior in high school, we went to a retreat and there were 500 Korean American youth kids worshiping God passionately. And most of them were all beautiful girls. So I was very blessed to be there. My future wife, I felt like, was there. If she didn't like me, then there was another person next to her. And so I went to the retreat, and these beautiful Korean American girls, they're like, Juya! And that's like Korean style of prayer. You'll learn it, okay? It's Juya, which means Lord. Juya! And she was spitting, not spitting, but something was coming out of her mouth, which was, okay, it was spit. It was saliva. And then something called 콧물, translated into English is called snot. And my life was transformed because that wasn't normal. This beautiful girl praying with snot and saliva coming out of her mouth, but really worshiping God. And so I asked God, Lord, I want to pray like this. And God, He met me during the worship song. To be pleasing you, this is all I really want to do. In Korean, 내가 원하는 한 가지. And I didn't understand Korean, but I felt it in my heart. 내가 원하는 want one 주님의 Lord 기쁨이 짠 되는 것야. And I felt the Holy Spirit telling me, Brian, you're lying. When did you ever pray for my glory and to be a blessing to me? All you prayed about was getting into a good university, getting a high-paying job, getting married with a beautiful wife. The only thing you ever prayed about was your dream, living your life. And that moment, the Holy Spirit pierced my heart. And for the first time, I realized that I had been living a life of sin, life without God. And the Holy Spirit, He convicted me, but at the same time, He wrapped His arms around me that night. And He said, Brian, I love you. Brian, I created you for a purpose. And now, for the rest of your life, you can live to please me. And so I committed my life to God that night. And I said, God, whatever you ask me, I will do. Wherever you lead me, I will go. And so after college, I actually did not graduate. I left my degree. I had one class left to graduate UT Austin as an English literature major. And that's when God called me to South Korea. So that's how I started, I guess, my music and mission career.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you for
What
sharing.
a testimony.
Yeah. And when you came to Korea, you came not alone, but together with your team called G2G, which stands for Generation to Generation, right?
Yes.
If you can briefly explain that team and also how you spent your time in Korea with G2G, and maybe some of the highlights. For example, this team translated 2 big songs from America to Korean. It's from English to Korean, and it was Here I Am to Worship, which is what we did today, tonight, and also Once Again. Yeah, so if you can share more about the translation stuff, the ministry, and also when I heard your stories, I know some behind stories, but I think the highlight was about the guitar.
Guitar? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you can share that, I think that's great.
Yes. You just asked me 10 questions.
You can pick 2.
So I came to Korea with a mission group called G2G, Generation to Generation. So it was we're the Korean American generation, and God really used the older generation in Korea and in my parents' generation to bring revival, and we wanted to learn the positive aspects from our elders or our elders of faith. And so we were called G2G, and we translated Matt Remon's Once Again. Once again I look upon the cross where you died. In Korean, we translate to, I don't remember. 주 달리신 십자가를 내가 볼 때. 제가 번역한 거예요. 째려보지 마시고요. 제가 번역했다고요. And then Light of the World, 빛 대신 주. In Texas, we translated from English to Korean, and that's how we became a professional, I guess, Christian band in Korea, and that became one of the number 1 worship songs in Korea back in those days. And but my start with this band was not on stage. It was not on stage. It was backstage or during the worship. My friends would play drums, sing the songs, dance, worship dancing, and play guitar, play drums. And my role during these worship nights was playing the guitar in the back next to the engineer. And when people entered the room or the church, they're like, what's this guy doing? Why is he playing guitar in the back? Because no one would see me during the worship, right? And that was a position that was given to me by my leaders. And at first, I really hated my leaders. And I thought they were ruining my life, right? But through that, I was leading worship, or I was playing guitar in the back, and all my friends on the stage, one by one, after the worship, they would come to me and they would say, because of you, I felt and I saw Jesus tonight. Brian, because of your humble position in the back, playing guitar, no one was watching, and God was telling me, Brian, I'm watching you. I'm applauding. I receive your worship. And one time, my grandfather, he came to see our worship. And I was like, no, I'm not even going to be on the stage. And my grandfather, he brought like 15 relatives. I was like, no, it's hard enough with one grandpa here. Why are they all here? I'm not even going to be on the stage. And my grandfather saw me in the middle of the worship. He's like, where's my grandson? He's not on the stage. So he saw me in the back, and he pulled out his camera. And he pulled out his lens, very long. He pulled out his flash, very big. And he started taking pictures of me in the corner. And everyone was like, crazy grandpa and grandson. That's when I realized God, he was pulling out his camera. He saw me before the audience of one. It's worshiping God. 2 years, that was my role. Not on stage, not with the mic. No one knew me, but God knew me. And after 2 years, I remember the last worship. The last song in Houston, Texas was a Korean song called, it's like this. 구원하심이 보좌에 앉으신 우리 하나님과. The drum was playing, the guitar, the choir, the weird dancers, 어린 양께 이또, and the electricity went out. And every instrument, you couldn't hear it anymore. Even the drums were not real drums. They were electronic drums. So the drummer, 1 second before, he looked really cool. When the electricity went out, he looked really weird. And the only instrument you could hear in that church was my guitar. And tears flowed down my eyes, and God was saying, Brian, thank you for worshiping not in front of people, but before me. Soulmate with Brian.